Communication with your supporters is crucial to building lasting relationships, increasing engagement, and driving meaningful impact for your cause. Argenta can help with this because it's an all-in-one CRM system centered on the people you rely on and work with. Every entity, individual, household, or organization that you're associated with is found in the system as a constituent. Within the constituent's record is an opt-in to one or more of your email lists. This process can be fully automated. I'm Michelle Sanchez, Director of Communication for Argenta, and in this video, I'll show you how to design a public email opt-in form and publish it to your website. I'll also show you where you can find your constituents' opt-in preferences, how to build reports on your email list, and how to add your list to the Argenta mailroom. Let's jump into Argenta and get started. When you log in, you're taken directly to your Argenta dashboard. The main menu is always on the left side of the screen, no matter where you are. All of the email features in Argenta can be found here in Communication. Let's take a look at the public email form. This is where you'll see everyone who's opted in using your public opt-in form. A constituent can be subscribed, or if they later unsubscribe, you'll see them here as unsubscribed. This keeps a historical record of who has opted in and then later opted out. At the top of this page, you can see the link to the public email form and the option to embed your email opt-in control right into your website. Okay, now it's time to design your public email opt-in form. This is the form you'll publish to your website to collect opt-ins. To design the form, click the orange Design Public Form button. This takes you to the design page, and as you can see, there are several things you can do here. You want your forms to match your brand and your website, so a good place to start is with your form colors. We want to be able to see what we have to work with and how our changes affect the form. To do that, I'll click the preview button so we can see how the public form looks right now. Switching back to the design page, you can see we've chosen a hero image and we've chosen to display it on the form. This makes the email opt-in a full page form, so it's not really as good for embedding. If you want a full form, you'll probably just want to link to the form from your website. I'll explain this in more detail a little later. But right now, let's switch the hero image off so it doesn't display on the page. The hero image is gone. This is still a full form because you can see that the template is still applied. You can choose to turn off your template and simply embed your opt-in box somewhere on your website. For now, though, let's change the colors of the email opt-in box to match the brand of this organization. Switching back to the public form design page, we'll start with the color of the box itself. All boxes default to a dark gray, so let's choose a better color for this brand. The headline color is set to the primary purple. Let's change the box color to that purple and adjust the other elements to work with the purple background. Now, obviously, you can just choose any color from the color picker here, but you might have a very specific color you want to use. For specific colors, you can use the hex code. The hex code for the purple is here, so I'll just copy it. I'll go back up to the color picker for the email sign-up box. To change the color to a specific color, I'll paste the purple hex code we copied. Now the background of the box is purple, so the other elements have to be changed too. I'll click the preview button again, which of course saves our changes and shows us what the form looks like now. As you can see, we can't have all the elements purple because they don't render correctly. Let's make the headline and the button color white using the color picker. The font colors for both the button and the button when a user hovers over it look like they'll work, so we'll leave them as they are. We'll also leave the secondary teal color for the button itself when the user hovers over it. We'll preview the form again, and we can see that the colors look good and everything is displayed properly. This small section here is the headline. You can change the text that's displayed here or eliminate it altogether. To do that, you just type the headline you want to display here. If you don't want it to show up on the form, just leave it blank. Before I jump into the form's content section, I'm going to talk again about using the full form versus embedding the opt-in control on your site. So I've refreshed the page now, and you can see that the public form and the embed option are also found here on the public form design page. This makes it easy for you to get your email opt-in published so you can start collecting emails for your list. This is the website for the Argenta Foundation, which is the philanthropic arm of Argenta. Through our foundation, we provide technology grants and consultation to nonprofits. This is a completely separate website. And you can see here that the email opt-in control is embedded into the site. If you choose the embedding option, you can place this control anywhere you like. When someone opts in to receive email, they're entered into your iteration of Argenta as a constituent and automatically placed on your general email list. This happens whether you choose to use the form or the embedding option. All right, the last thing you can do to customize the public form is to use the Argenta content editor here to add a custom designed section to your form. This obviously doesn't apply if you're using the embedding option. To create or modify this content section, click the Edit button. This will bring up the content editor. I'm not going to go through the content editor in great detail because we have other knowledge base articles that do a deep dive into how this works and how powerful it is for designing forms and emails. What I will do is show you how adding a little bit of content here changes your email opt-in form. So I've added a pretty standard block of content, a headline, an image, and some text. If I click the preview button now, keeping in mind that clicking this button always saves your changes, you'll see how adding this changes the public form. Obviously, it doesn't have to be a complex section. You can just add a few lines of helpful text and leave it at that. So that's really all there is to adding a custom design to your public email opt-in form. The biggest takeaway here is that you have two options for collecting email addresses for your list. The first is to design and display the full public form, and the second is to just embed the email opt-in control anywhere you like on your own website. Whichever you choose, contacts and their email addresses get automatically entered into Argenta and placed on your main email list. Okay, I've taken you through designing your public email opt-in form. Now I'll show you where and how to view the results. Like I showed you earlier, you can see the constituents who've opted in right here on the email opt-in list. Each constituent has their own comprehensive record filled with detailed information about them. When you're in a constituent record, you can see what communication they've opted into. Let's open one of these constituents here. This is the main details page in the constituent record. To see which of your email offerings they've opted into, open the Communication tab. You can see a drop-down field, types of communication this constituent would like to receive. This is a list of all the communication methods you currently have in your system and which ones they have opted into. You do have the ability to opt them in and out here manually as well. These communication methods are classification codes in Argenta. So you can find them by choosing classification codes in the main menu. You can find these here in constituent communication methods. Like any classification code, you can add new ones or remove unneeded ones whenever necessary. Finally, here I'll show how you can use these communication methods to send your communications through email. We have a report that will help you with this here in the Argenta Report Center. We'll be taking a look at the constituent communication report, which can be found either in custom mailing lists or constituent reports. This report allows you to display a list of constituents who have opted in to one or more of the constituent communication methods that you have set up in your iteration. For example, if you have an email newsletter that you send to your supporters and a constituent has opted in to receive it, they'll appear in the report when you choose to filter by email newsletter. This report can also be filtered by constituent affiliations. So let's say you're sending something that only applies to volunteers and members. You could narrow that down by designating those in the affiliation field. After you've narrowed down this report to only those you want to send email to, you can send that list to the mailroom. The Argenta mailroom is where lists are stored and email rules like unsubscribes are applied. To do this, I clicked the Send Results to Mailroom button, and that brought up a window where I could specify what type of list I wanted to create and give my list a name so I can find it in the mailroom or in the email batch system later. The Argenta mailroom and all the systems that allow you to design and send email are integrated throughout the system. We have separate knowledge-based videos that can show you how it works. For more information on email opt-in or any of the modules in Argenta, go to argentasoftware.com/KB.